Guys and girls, welcome back to my channel, and I have an amazing video for you guys today. We are going to be going and looking at some new Assassin's Creed Origins gameplay from the live stream Ubisoft did for the pre-launch event of Assassin's Creed Origins. Now in this video we will have some interviews and questions answered by Ashraf Ismail and also Maximal Demou and some of the other community members and community managers in Assassin's Creed lore, franchise, overall funness in this video. So guys and girls, again, this is not my gameplay, this is straight from Ubisoft, their live stream. Link to their Twitch is in the link below, where they continue to bring us more Assassin's Creed live streams and gameplays once the game is fully released. Enjoy the video, like it, comment down below what's your favourite part, and I'll see you in the next video.
So here we go. So here, just to show off, this is the gear page. This is effectively where you customize your Bayek, if you will, in terms of outfit, gear, and so on. So at the bottom there, we have the elements that we can craft. Sure. So these are things that enhance your stats, like health, melee damage, range damage, things like stealth damage. So for example, here we have the hidden blade. Luckily we have enough resources to craft the next level up for this. So this enhances the damage, which you can see at the bottom. And this is a way to be able to get that one-shot kill on your enemies through the RPG system. We have more crafting material here. For example, we can see that the health is increased. And so the crafting element is really there to enhance the rest of it, like the shields, the melee weapons, and so on. You can, spin the camera around just to see what Bayek looks like. We have a ton of stuff inside, cosmetics and outfits. Here we have what the default Bayek, but here we'll put on a different outfit just to kind of show something different. We'll put a lot of effort into outfits. I think later people will see more really cool outfits and how far we play with that. But I think we're good. Maybe we'll go to abilities. Yeah, sure, why not? Just to show the way we think about abilities, it's kind of a graph. Sure. With kind of flavors. So you can see Hunter, Warrior, Seer. The idea being that the Warrior tree obviously is more related to combat. Hunter tree is more related to either ranged combat or stealth. And the Seer is a mix of stealth and, let's say, manipulating the environment to get what you want. So yes, this is where we have animal taming. This is where we have the dawn and dusk, which allows you to change night and day, which does have a big impact in terms of stealth. And maybe we'll see that a bit later on.
Can you tame a hippo?
You absolutely can tame a hippo.
Excellent.
And it's
excited.
quite wild. It's super cool. Here we have a lion in the video, but a hippo would have been a good idea, maybe. So I think we're okay.
I think we're ready.
Do you want to buy? Okay, you want to buy another ability?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Oh, Senu harass. Okay, perfect.
So that you can send her at a guard, and it sort of like distracts them? Or
yeah, so that one ability, Eagle Harass, it has two functions. One is, yes, when you're flying with Senu, you can target a guard and have her harass him so you can sneak up to them or have them turn around. There's a lot of stealth you can do just with that ability. And passively, now Senu will come while you're on combat and help you harassing a guard who might be far away from you or an archer, just to give you that extra little support. She's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart.
I love Senu.
We also have a question from the chat. They want to know if outfits only affect cosmetics. This question comes from Chaos Rain.
Yes, this was a reflection we've made off previous Assassin's Creeds. We saw a big disparity between people who want better stats, better gear for gameplay reasons, but people also wanting to have whatever look they want to have. So we separated the concepts. So the outfits are really cosmetic. So you can put on whatever outfit you want, and it's not going to necessarily change your stats. We felt that it was better, allow people to get their stats through weapons, shields, crafting, and leave the outfits for really cosmetic stuff, what you want to look like. Yeah,
style is very important.
Absolutely.
The most important. So I think we want to try a little bit of a stealth approach here. Yes, Miriam? You ready to go? So we have a little bit of a smaller camp here, so we're going to highlight sort of how you can use Senu to scout and sort of maybe different approaches you can do to stay hidden and still assassinate.
Yeah, and here we can see different things. There's a hippo marching into the camp.
It doesn't look very happy.
This one is not safe, though.
So there's actually a hippo attacking the camp. That was honestly, for the people at home, that was not set up. This is the life that's in Egypt. We really wanted to make sure that, you know, whether it's animals or civilians or guards, that they have agendas and needs and wants, and that all this stuff kind of crisscrosses over one another. Literally here, it's probably a hippo from the river that these guards aggressed somehow, and sadly they seem to have killed. So now they're kind of getting back into their position, but we have them, they're still agitated.
Oh,
Yeah, oh boy.
a whole army.
You might not need to do any work here. The hippos might do it all for you.
Exactly, and you know, this is part of the fun. We fully accept that the world is living. You know, these guys are, they're so worried that they actually lit the brazier. I just noticed it in the back. It's actually lit, which is calling for reinforcements. So Miriam, good luck. Your work is cut out for you. So even if the hippos take out some guards, their nearby reinforcements are coming. We see those guys in the back.
no.
Those are coming because of the lit brazier. So good luck, Miriam.
This is absolute chaos.
I didn't do nothing yet. Darn. And they saw me. No.
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
So by stealth, we meant hippo
Okay.
strap.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the hippo strategy did not work out on this one.
Okay, I'm just gonna let them fight it off.
Yeah.
And yep.
We can reset the loop. No, but this is something we really wanted, that the world was really felt living, that it wasn't events that are spawned just around you to kind of make you feel like it's living. It's that they actually, this stuff is even happening kilometers away. And we needed that because with Senu you can see so far into the world.
Right.
We wanted that players can see these kind of opportunities at long distances to either try to approach them ahead of time or even to approach the aftermath, which might be, you know, let's say a bunch of loot is laying there for you because some guards got killed or animals got slaughtered, sadly. But it was important for us that the world felt like it was really living on its own and providing you with
It
opportunities.
seems like the experiences you'll have player to player will vary pretty differently just based on random circumstances.
Absolutely, that's what we hope for, and we hope that this, you know, I mean, we try to make sure that this also impacts the quests. So even when you're playing a quest where you have a named character that needs to do something, that by going on this journey with them, that based on what's happening in the world, it can drastically change. You know, we sometimes have a quest where it'll ask you to bring someone somewhere, they might be hurt, and you can do that with, let's say, any vehicle you have, any opportunity. I've had situations where I've decided, you know what, I'm going to carry this guy on a chariot. But chariots,
That sounds pretty cool.
they're more military vehicles, so getting a chariot can be quite difficult. So I had this fun adventure trying to get a chariot so I can transport someone. And we hope that people find their own, you know, little stories, little anecdotes for these moments.
We also have a question from BPRGaming in the chat who asks, with the new RPG elements of the game, what did you change within the stealth element to make it feel like AC, but also add a bit more to the system?
Ooh, okay, good question. So, I mean, the first thing we started thinking about is if we want to embrace the RPG element, what do we do about assassinations and the hidden blade? And for us, we wanted to assume that RPG element, which meant that you cannot bypass the progression. If you are meeting enemies, it's not necessarily that they're higher level, it's that they just have so much, let's say, hit points and armor and defense that you just need to do more damage to them. We accepted the fact that you have to craft your hidden blade. Having said that, in my recent playthrough, I decided I wanted to do a playthrough that was more stealthy, more using bows and the hidden blade. And just by focusing on crafting, I'm able to keep up with one-shotting enemies as I'm playing through the quest lines, through the side quests. So we wanted to make sure that stealth damage as a stat, if you will, was part of the progression. That you had things you can craft that were really linked to you being more stealthy, and you have a lot of abilities that are linked to stealth. I mean, Miriam was looking at it a bit earlier. The graph is out there, so people can take a look at the graph. But there's a lot of abilities linked directly to stealth.
Like the chain kill assassination.
Like
looks,
the chain kill.
I hope we can do that. It looks really cool.
Miriam,
No
we'll try to
pressure.
stress
No
her
pressure.
capacity.
Nothing works
great.
like it's supposed to be. But yes.
But we got to show the hippos, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Hippos
moved.
are awesome.
So we've escaped from a small camp that was supposed to give us a
Yeah.
little taste to one of the biggest forts we have in the game. So now there's a lot of stuff in this area. There's braziers for alarms. That, by the way, we can booby trap those. which we should
booby
try at
traps.
some point.
So what happens when they booby trap? Does it?
Oh, but I think we have to see
Oh,
it
okay.
to
Yeah.
see
Sorry,
the,
guys, I'm
I
getting
mean,
ahead of
it's
myself.
no, but effectively everything that is there for the AI to use, the player can use. So, for example, there's ballistas. There's the braziers that is a kind of an alarm, but you can actually use it to your advantage. You can even light it to actually have reinforcements come in, which is a tactic we expect players to start doing later in the game when you have these sort of bounty hunters chasing after you and you feel strong enough to take them on. One
like,
of the
"Come
easiest
and
way to
get
get
me."
exactly call them out.
That's bold.
And they have some of the best loot in the game, so
Oh, really?
their weapon, you can get their weapons. I expect that people will start playing with that. But here we have a massive fort.
Massive fort.
Absolutely massive
Cannot
fort.
emphasize how big this fort is,
It's
Miriam.
huge.
But we
And here we
found
can see
it.
in the back, people can see that the doorway next to the cursor, just on the cursor now. By using Senu, you can find secret entrances to these types of locations. There's a lot of secret entrances. In this one, it happens to be, let's say, a cavern that leads you into the well. So it's
you
directly
can climb
tied to
up
the, it's
into it?
directly tied to the level design. So okay, so perfect. Miriam's gonna use it. But this is something that players can assume. You can charge into a place if you want,
Sure.
if that's your approach. If you take a bit of time to scout, there's value in doing that. You can find these kind of cool opportunities to be able to really sneak into the heart of the base and bypass some of the challenges.
Oh, an alligator. Great.
But that's the thing. The world is really, we didn't, you have to pay attention to the world you're in. Egypt was, at this time, a very dangerous place. So yes, in this place, I can tell you that we didn't even spawn an alligator there. He probably just made his way through the river to the spot.
That's so cool.
Living his life in
quite
his
awesome.
alligator home,
Yeah.
and we just roll up in here.
Interrupt his daily
So
business.
sorry, alligator.
Going back to the hidden blades you were mentioning earlier, we have a question from Net Magetsu in the chat who asks, will each hidden blade look different visually? And they mentioned that they noticed the store prop for Origins has twin blades.
Yes, so all the crafting, so for the breastplate, the bracer, the stabilizer, the hidden blades, every crafting level has its own visual.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Ooh.
And NyQuil and Chill, that's a really great username.
That's a great name.
Would like to know, are there going to be ship battles similar to AC3 or AC4?
Yes, there will be the larger ship battles. It's not the scope of Black Flag. Black Flag was really about that.
Sure.
But yes, we wanted to have some kind of return of like this really great system. It's fully justified, but we don't want to ruin the surprise. There is some surprises in how that plays out into the game. But yes, we will have some.
course.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Ship battles are my favorite. The real question is, will we have sea shanties again? That's my priority.
Stream exclusive. Ah.
So there are some surprises when it comes to that naval element for sure.
Oh, God.
I don't want to. It's not sea shanties per se. But how about we get back to stealth?
We're gonna grill you.
So, what our angle is, this is a video game. We try to be credible, but not realistic. Those are the words we separate. We're not a realistic game. This isn't a true, a pure history of what happened. We have a fiction. We have a lore that we intermingle into all of this.
Right.
So we take some liberties where we feel it's justified because we have a reference. So if we find a reference of some guy who's quite tall, a 7-foot dude, quite muscular, that's good enough for us to say that we have a bunch of these guys in the world like him who are armored and carry that type of weapon. Having said that, the majority of the experience is quite a credible one. Even the War Elephants, again, this is based off of references we found. We might exaggerate some stuff for gameplay reasons. As an example for the War Elephants, it was really, we needed slightly bigger elephants to actually have things like weak points. For example, their eyes are weak points. And so we had to play with the size to find how can we have them armored. Some parts are more difficult to hit. How can we have it so that you can run in its legs? So having said that, we do try to find references that can justify the ends of what we try to do. The general thing is quite credible in our opinion, but again, we're not a realistic game, and we don't pretend to be.
I guess if you can one-shot punch an elephant in the face and kill it.
At some point, yes.
This question kind of related. Shadow Cyclone 08 from Twitch wants to know if you can fast travel.
Yeah. So you're not forced to, but there's many different ways. So by visiting the villages of the world, the cities of the world, this automatically allows you to fast travel back to them. Also the viewpoints. So now the viewpoints, they do a bunch of different things. One of them is unlocking a fast travel to that viewpoint. The other thing they do, which is quite cool, is they increase Senu's ability to tag and detect.
Oh, cool.
So by doing more and more viewpoints, the idea is, in previous ACs there was always an eagle around these viewpoints. Here, you know, in an origin sense, the idea is you're bringing Senu to the viewpoint. Yeah, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? But the idea is it's a link. There's a link there, so there's different ways to unlock fast travel.
Now for the health regen, Miek Van Dolgenborg, that's a little bit of a tongue twister there, from Twitch, wants to know if health regains over time or if you have to take potions.
No, we tried a bunch of different designs, but we left it at you have abilities that can change the way your health regens. Once you're out of conflict, though, we wanted that the whole loop resets itself. So that when you exit conflict, whether you want to go back into stealth, where you want to go back into a new fight that's upcoming, that you kind of start at a stable place. So your health regens outside of combat, and then you have abilities that change the way that works. Oh, well,
Oh.
there's a line in the
No.
Are you kidding me?
Surprise!
There's even here, we see this label, you can see it says assist rebels. So this is another element of the game where whether it's civilians, rebels, there's different factions in the world. There are these opportunities that are actually quite dynamic that you can take advantage of. In this case, let's say if we release some rebels who have been captured, so let's say they've been captured, they brought into these cells, if you let them go, they're, oh man.
Okay,
It's-
bye,
okay,
Miriam.
yeah.
Dropped you like a hot potato.
No.
It's no good.
I believe in you, Miriam. I believe in you.
Thank you.
You've got this.
Gotta
To be
beat this
killed two
guy.
times by the same dude would be a bit sad.
No, you're just lulling him into a false sense of security
Exactly.
before you assassinate
There
him.
you go.
This looks like a mutated bow.
There we go. Oh boy, yeah. So
This
this
is
is the
the-
rapid fire bow. It's kind of like an Uzi. It's quite fast. But again, this is actually based off of a guy who showed us how you can hold arrows and fire them very, very fast. So the way he's holding them is actually based off of a reference we have.
I want to meet this guy and watch
Alright.
him
This guy's amazing.
shoot a bow.
Just have a scene with him. What do you?
I'm trying to put it on fire.
Oh, got it. I thought you
Fire
were just-
arrows are so cool.
Hey, as a little tip, you know, you have a torch. You can use the torch as a stealth tool. You can use it to distract guards, to lure them. But you can actually drop it in front of you and use it to light your arrows as well.
Yeah?
Oh,
It's
cool.
a little anecdote. Yeah.
Are you hinting at anything that you'd like to see on screen?
Hint. No, it's okay. We're dealing with this dude. Hey, you can toss that jar. If we toss that jar next to it, see that jar right there? If we toss it on him, it's gonna break into oil,
Oh,
which will make really the fire really do something interesting.
sounds like you should heat things up. a
Oh,
little bit.
okay, you threw it to
Oh,
fire source already.
In the meat.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh
What
boy.
kind of
no.
dude just walks through fire and then
This guy.
That
fine.
guy.
A badass like that.
Wasted Miriam. Get him.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is
So
getting-
Falakis are near. Oh
And
boy.
that's the group you referenced,
That's
correct?
the group I was mentioning earlier. So at this point, in terms of where we are in terms of the narrative,
He's
Oh,
looking you
boy.
dead in the face.
it's like, really? Come on now.
so I would escape from this point. Oh, he's tossing
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
So here, at some point, so every enemy
Things
has
got a
the
little
ability
too hot.
to do ranged combat as well, especially when you're in an area that maybe is hard for them to reach. This guy, so some guys will throw javelins, some guys will use bows. This guy has the ability to throw sachets of oil that light on fire if there's a fire source nearby.
Thanks to us.
So
there
that was, so that's tough. Miriam, not your fault.
I know.
Very difficult. So I'll say again, this was one of the hardest forts we have in the game. There's a few optional side quests that take you there. This is a really tough place.
Well, to lighten up the mood after Miriam's death, we can talk about some animals. Tyrion from Twitch wants to know if you can get the cats to follow you around town.
Cats. Oh, cats.
Can you interact with them? With your
Yeah.
hands at all?
So the way that we've gone about it is that, so yes, sometimes cats will follow you.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. But a cat will do what a cat does. So
Ignore you?
So sometimes they'll
Neglect
ignore
you
you.
emotionally?
Sometimes
Yeah.
if we see that you're actively chasing after one, it depends. It's kind of a roll of the dice. The cat may decide to give you attention. It might just run away from you. So we kind of had a little bit of fun with cats on this one.
And there are dogs too, right?
There are dogs in the world.
Excellent.
There are dogs in the world. There's a ton of animals, a lot of different types of. It's not just the predators that we see. We have a lot of ambient animals, a lot of domesticated animals, and so on. You know, we've seen a lot of horses and carts that are pulled by horses, but we have carts that are pulled by bulls and so on. So animals galore.
That's
Perfect.
great. So we have a question about the story from Dan7714 from Twitch, who wants to know if the story will take place over several years. And they said that they liked that in the other games. I don't know how
No
in-depth
spoilers,
you
Twitch
can
chat.
get.
Jeez.
So I mean,
the plot?
we've said I won't say how many years. You know, I don't want to spoil some stuff, but we've said effectively that this is we are at the time period of the rise of Cleopatra, of her being pushed out of the country, pushed off of her throne, to ascending that throne, with eventually Caesar coming in and so on. So you can kind of guesstimate about what that means in terms of timeline. I don't want to spoil too much stuff in terms of the narrative. For me,
That's
it's
fair.
very important that people
Absolutely.
experience this narrative. It's definitely not the same me talking about it. I'm not as clever as our brilliant writers or our actors who you know, Abu and Alex. They did a phenomenal job with these characters. I love what they did with them. We did put a lot of effort into the narrative, into who is this couple, this husband and wife that give the birth to something really powerful in our lore that has lasted for over 2,000 years. I want people to experience that themselves. You don't want me talking about it. I'll ruin it for you. It won't be as
After
glamorous.
launch, he will read the whole script.
After launch,
so
we
it'll
can
be an
get into
audiobook,
it. We
all
can get
of
Go
into it.
line by line.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Jack of All Games, who's also from Twitch, wants to know if there's a carrying capacity or if you can hoard. Which is a
Asking
good
the
question
important
because I do
questions.
the same
Yeah.
thing.
So maybe we can show it really quickly here. Remember, if we go to the gear page, just show it really quickly. So if we go to, let's say the bows, there is no carrying capacity. You can hoard whatever you want. Knowing that, you can dismantle stuff, you can sell it. If we go back into it, just show it really quickly. People can see at the bottom of the screen. Can you enter the inventory there? You can see at the bottom in green text. You can sort the inventory so that because it gets so big, sometimes we needed mechanisms to be able to, you know, what was the last thing I got, or
Organize your hoarding.
or organize your hoarding. Exactly, that's very
Perfect.
important.
Organized chaos.
Bayek was a very organized fellow, so so there's ways to manage that. But yes, there's no carrying capacity. You do have capacities for, let's say, ammo, which is
Sure.
part of the crafting system, and it's why we have, you know, ammo.
So you can like
ammo
upgrade
containers.
your quiver and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
And hold more.
But generally speaking, for weapons, shields, gear, outfits, there's no limit there.
So we're nearing the end of our segment with you, but we can fit in one more question from Crossfire
Sure,
and
yeah.
from the Mixer chat, who wants to know what the highest structure you can climb is, and they want to know how long it took to create it. A long time.
Yeah. So the person-made structure, let's say, would be the Great Pyramid. I believe that's the or is it the Pharaohs? Ooh, the world
you know
team's
they're
gonna
gonna
kill
fact
me
check
for
you,
not knowing. I'm gonna say it's the Great Pyramid, but the scale of the Great Pyramid is a one-to-one scale. It's massive.
Oh my
It takes a few minutes to climb that thing. We wanted to represent, you know, this place with all its awe and grandeur. So the pyramid is definitely one of the largest, biggest places that you can climb, and you can definitely climb to the top of it. How long did it take to build? We did a lot of iterations on Giza Plateau itself to make sure that it has really awesome opportunities for you, that it matches what people expect We knew people would want to climb the pyramids and slide down, so we needed to make sure. So I can't quantify that time because I don't really know the number, but a lot of effort has been put on it with a lot of different people looking at it and making sure that it was as solid as possible. And in the Discovery Tour, you can have tours within the Great Pyramids, and we actually talk a lot about the actual structure of it, but even where we needed to think from a developer point of view, what can we do, what can't we do for gameplay reasons. So we kind of get into that a little bit. In terms of just the tallest things you can climb, well, there's mountains, there's the Katara Depression where it's actually quite low, and so you have these giant cliff faces. I'm not even sure how tall they are.
You can climb all the
but-
cliff faces, right? You can just basically...
Oh, you can absolutely climb every surface. You can get to pretty much. Yeah, we wanted that the landscape was really fun to navigate and to climb. And if you see a point and you want to reach that point, just go.
That's one of
figure
my
out your
favorite
way
things
there.
about
Yeah.
AC is that you
Just
you're
climbing
like,
on everything.
I'm going to climb that. That's mine now.
And
Even
then
better is
there's some
the-
surprises there. There's some surprises where we don't necessarily tell you exactly what's there, or even hint that there's something
What are you
there.
hinting at, Ash?
But if you explore, we wanted to make sure exploration was really rewarded. But so we put a lot of stuff in the world to make sure we expect people to climb this space because something attracted them there, whether it's its height or its look. And so there might be a little surprise around the corner if you just kind of
Awesome.
take the time to look.
I can't wait to explore.